Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Glitter Glaze Glue from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, Am I the arsehole here for telling my mum I'm used to it after my parents ruined the surprise of my engagement and the wedding dress. I, 27 female, am getting married in September 2025. I'm in a long-distance relationship. My partner lives in England and I'm in the US. But lucky enough that I work remote and visit about 3 times a year for 6 weeks at a time. And he visits me in the US about 4 times a year for once a week. When he was planning to propose, he'd asked my parents' blessings in March 2024. My parents had assumed that I would know he was proposing. My dad had told me in a conversation that following week he was proposing in December 2024. As you could imagine, I was upset. My mother invalidated my feelings and said I was making it a big deal and being stupid for not assuming it was going to be during Christmas because that's when both of our families were together. My argument is that while I could have had a hunch, I didn't want to be told when it was and basically could have practically gone a whole year wondering excitedly when it would be. For all I know, he could have proposed before that, and Christmas we would have had an engagement party. Anyway, basically my dad apologized, but my mum has stood firm on saying I'm dramatic for being upset. Since then, more things have gone wrong, and has started to leave me just so sad about wedding planning. None of this has been a good experience, and I'm starting to feel like it's a chore. Flash forward to today. My partner is visiting, just for 1 week, and we're all sitting on the couch in the living room. My mum randomly turns to me and goes, "Have you picked up your veil from the bridal store yet?" Right in front of him. And then my partner smiles and goes, "Oh, you're wearing a veil." And I just got super frustrated. There are only 2 surprises in a wedding, the engagement and the dress, and both of them have been handled so carelessly. So I turned to my mum and said, "Can you please not mention anything about the dress? Not the shoes, nothing. I don't want him knowing anything." She rolls her eyes, walks around, and about 10 minutes later gives a half-hearted apology just saying, "Sorry OP." And I replied, "It's fine. I'm used to it at this point." And now she's gone back and locked herself in the room. So I guess, am I the arsehole for being upset? Edits, I know a lot of people are asking if this is like her. It isn't. She already had one of her 4 daughters get married. I'm the second. She never ruined the engagement or the dress, and she seemed to care a whole lot more about her than she has me during this time. Second edit, nowadays a lot of brides opt to wear veils, tiaras, sometimes hats, or embellishments, or nothing at all. I forgot to mention that my fiancé had told me he didn't want to know if I was wearing a veil or anything, and wanted it all to be a surprise. Since he's a very mild-tempered and sweet, he was surprised but was trying to be nice in his reaction because he knew I'd be upset. Her calling you the drama queen after her going to her room when you called her out is just peak manipulation, isn't it? And you know, if this was an accident and somehow it slipped up about the engagement, etc., and they genuinely made a mistake, yes, it's still really shitty, but you turn around, you apologize and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for that to come out in that way." Something along those lines, not be dismissive that she is in this situation, calling OP a drama queen, and then it happened again. It's just showing a pattern that's disregarding your feelings. And the "I'm used to it" response, you know, I don't think it was even that harsh. I just think it was honest in that situation. And it's one of those ones that sometimes people need to hear that. And I'm always like, when people say it's not like her, I kind of wonder, is it though? If you really think back, is there other behaviors that you're not mentioning right now? Because we seem to see this like time and time again, that there's always sort of something underlying about it. But Substantial Air says, "Not the arsehole. Put your parents on an information diet. Also know in the future they're always gonna do this. Maybe prepared for some oddball wedding toast from them." Slight Perspective says, "When I was planning my wedding to my now ex-husband, my now ex-mother-in-law went dress shopping with me. I ended up choosing a blush print bridal gown with embroidered roses. It felt so special and unique, and I reminded everyone at the appointment not to mention that I chose a color instead of a white gown. At the dinner table that evening, in front of my fiancé, she asked, 'Are you going to get pink flowers to match the pink dress?' I swear you could hear a pin drop. I went to another room and sobbed. I know she didn't say it with malicious intent to spoil the surprise. It was obvious she was excited and sort of forgot herself, but losing the surprise element of the dress reveal was devastating at the time. All that to say, no OP. I don't think you're the arsehole. It sounds like your parents really don't care about your feelings. Best to keep all wedding planning to yourself and your fiancé, and only involve your parents when needed. Jazz Like Lab says, not the arsehole, you're absolutely allowed to be upset. Your parents ruined two of the biggest, most meaningful surprises of your life, and then acted like you were the problem for caring. You're not being dramatic. You're acting like a normal person would when something really special gets taken away from them. Your "I'm used to it" comment was honest, and honestly, it sounds like it needed to be said. Maybe it stung because deep down she knows she keeps crossing boundaries but does not want to take responsibility. You deserve excitement, magic, and respect around your engagement and wedding. Please don't let them make you second guess yourself. Congratulations on your engagement. Hope you and your fiancé get the beautiful memories you both deserve. Grey Blue Girl says she's locked in herself in her room. Okay, that's mature. Meanwhile, Grey rocking your parents seems to be the strategy that will work best. Tell them nothing important, very little wedding conversation, and tell your husband to be doing the same. Don't talk and don't answer questions. Practice giving empty answers to questions. We decided we aren't going to discuss personal things like that. Oh, I'm so tired of wedding stuff, I can't even talk about it. Oh, same old, you know how things go. The skill is going to come in handy and for other situations as well. Not the arsehole. And one more comment from Blue, who says despite what they say, they seem to be inconsiderate and get off on spoiling things. My mum got the same way. When they bring it up, they want to act like it isn't a big deal. But when you do, they get a victim complex, even when they were sharing your business. In the end, the only way they can change is by making them feel bad about it, so they can then begin to sympathize and understand how their reactions may impact others. Otherwise, they remain selfish. In my relationship with my parents, it caused me to detach from them and rarely share anything. I also moved to another state with my partner. And no, my mum can't also just swing by because she wanted to. Personally, it worked out for the better, unfortunate as it is. So, OP came in with an update and said, so for context, a lot of things have gone wrong since we've been in talks of getting engaged. Obviously, my dad had told me about the engagement, but then other things went wrong, like my partner's sister causing drama the day before our engagement. The day of our engagement going horribly wrong to the point my partner told me he'd propose again. Finding out last month that my partner's dad got remarried a year ago in secret. We didn't even know he was dating anyone. And him asking for a +1 for the wife no one had even heard of. Or also telling my partner he's ridiculous for being upset because it isn't a big deal. My best friend bailing on my bachelorette for someone else's. So it's safe to say that since December, it's been stressful. And those are only the bigger issues I mentioned. I know everyone was saying my mum should be on an info diet. She already was by her own choice. She hasn't asked or been part of anything by her own design, and it's felt like she couldn't care less about the wedding. Any time she cared was when she found out we were only inviting 40 people, and people she wanted there weren't invited, like her friends who I barely see or know, and her brother and cousin, who I both haven't seen since I was 11. That's when she insisted on paying for them so they could come. And that's the only time she asked about anything having to do with the wedding, or to be honest, anything involving me. She hasn't checked in to see if me and my partner are okay, given all the other stuff that has happened either. So I ended up speaking with my mum a little while after what happened, and I told her that while I know I shouldn't have said I'm used to it, that ultimately I'm upset because it seems nothing has gone right. She seemed apologetic at first and said she didn't know why she said that and knew that she shouldn't have. I nodded and said just please don't say anything else regarding what you know about the dress. She was there when I got the dress and veil with my sisters. I then told her that I'm just tired of things going wrong and that my partner and I felt super unsupported and alone. She responded back, starting her sentence with, OP, only a handful of things have happened. I feel like you're looking for things to be upset about at this point. And to be honest, when she said that, I kind of lost it. I basically said that I didn't go looking for any of this, and all of these things that have happened to my fiancé and I were out of our control. Like, you're the one who brought up the veil, not me. I didn't go looking for any of these issues. I told her that if there was one problem, then fine, I'd have handled it and moved on. But that the repeated offenses coming from every angle have hurt me and my partner. I've been trying to get over what's occurred, but something else happened to make the wedding planning even harder for us. I told her that my fiance and I both have felt super alone during this time that's supposed to be joyful, and that her carelessness and thoughtlessness has been super hurtful, especially when she's continually invalidated my feelings. She shrugged and said that she's done nothing and she's not going to talk to me or ask me about the other problems going on because I've been upset and she doesn't want to deal with it. Lol. After a lot of your comments, I realized that I definitely was attempting to include someone who has shown not only should they not be, but they don't want to be. My partner leaves back to the UK today, but at this point I'm considering eloping with him when I'm visiting him in England in May. We already paid half of what we owe to our venue and photographer, so cancelling it isn't really an option. But maybe we'll just have the reception instead of the ceremony. Thank you to the commenters who pointed out that if we ever have children, to keep the important moments to ourselves of gender or birth dates or names. I think you're right, and my mum has pretty much ensured she'll be on a permanent info diet for as long as she's in my life, because if not, she'll more than likely spoil it and then invalidate my feelings. I think ultimately, it wasn't about the veil for me. I know my partner will still be surprised. I'm just sad because he told me he didn't want an idea of anything and wanted to be completely clueless about what I would be wearing. But ultimately, this was about the continued thoughtlessness and invalidation that's pretty much been the theme for the last 4 months. If my mum had said she was sorry and left it, it would have been fine. But acting like I went looking to be upset when she randomly ruins yet another detail is just wild to me. Edits. I also forgot to say yes, I am moving to England. We're hoping to make that jump at the beginning of 2026. Second edit. I know a lot of people are saying completely cancel the venue. But we already have friends and family from my fiance's side who have bought their flight tickets to come. At least 10 have already confirmed. I don't think I have the heart in me to cost people that kind of money when they've already invested into this. Third edit. I'm not sure if my mum cares that I'm moving. I'm in England for 6 to 8 weeks at a time every few months, so she's already used to me leaving for a significant amount of time. She doesn't seem sad I'm leaving, if anything, has said she understands why I'm moving. If she is sad, or that's the real reason behind all of this, I'd actually be super surprised. I won't rule it out, but my mum isn't the type to care about that sort of thing. And I think eloping in this situation is such a good option. I know it's not what you wanted in the beginning or anything like that, but to move away from this drama, the absolute dismissiveness of it in her from this is just awful, shrugging and saying, she's done nothing, she's not going to talk to you and ask you about any other problems going on because she just doesn't want to deal with it. What a lovely attitude, right? Yes, sod that shit. But Helpful Librarian says, I still say move to England. Elope. Honeymoons in the Scilly Islands and make your life somewhere you want. You'll never get what you want from your mum, and I'm sorry for that. Commenter says marry quietly. Just you, him, and a couple of people who truly love you. Then do the reception with the a-holes. Pink Petal Bella says, not the arsehole. You didn't go looking for problems, people get handing them to you. Your mum isn't just thoughtless, she's emotionally dismissive, and you're right to finally stop handing her opportunities to hurt you. Eloping sounds honestly peaceful after everything. Protect your joy, because clearly some people will show up for it the way you deserve. There's a story recently and it was talking about taking your power back. And I really love the way that sounds. And I think it's something that OP can absolutely do in this situation. Do I think it's an easy thing? No, I don't. I think, family relationships, regardless of what's going on between them, I think they're always really difficult to navigate. Not for everyone. Some people always tell me, no, I can deal with that problem. No problem at all. But I know for myself, I know from some others around me, I know for many people that can be incredibly difficult, especially if something's been normalized in your life in a certain way. It's all you know. So standing up for yourself, believing in yourself, taking your power back can be difficult sometimes, but I think it's so freeing when you actually do it. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from You Catfished Me 99 and says, my girlfriend 24 female basically catfished me 28 male to see if I'd cheat. I'm furious and don't know if this is grounds for breaking up or not. Me and Samantha have been together for 4.5 years. We live together and have generally a great life and are very happy together. I did however just find out that she's been essentially catfishing me for at least 2 of these years. She has made an account on Instagram, which she proceeded to use to follow me and try to DM me as this catfish. And same with Facebook. 2 different women's photos, but both are Samantha. I found out from our best friend who told me in private, and she said she's been doing this for 2 years and can even show me the real woman. She said she did it to see if I'd ever be unfaithful. But 2 years? I'm unsure what to do from here on out. She doesn't know I know yet, and I don't know when/how to bring it up. I'm honestly furious. I've been great to this girl for 4 years and wouldn't hurt her, but she obviously still doesn't trust me and has basically had a whole life made up as someone else, trying to get with me. What would you do in this situation? The top commenter on this one said, you really did not explain what these accounts have done. Was it just a friend request from these accounts that you never accepted and never got messages from? Were you fucking talking to these accounts for 2 years? What's going on here? You say 2 years, but there's no way she was actively messaging you from these 2 accounts for 2 years without you engaging in the conversation. Why wouldn't you just block a random stranger that kept bothering you? Another commenter says, question, why would this so-called best friend suddenly tell you now after 2 years? That in itself seems odd and is a bit fishy. Are you sure it's not the best friend catfishing you? Is she telling the truth about the length of time? I'm not saying your girlfriend didn't necessarily do it, but why are you blindly believing her friend? Did she actually give you irrefutable proof that it was your girlfriend doing it? You absolutely need to talk to your girlfriend about this before you even decide whether or not you're going to break up with her. You at the moment have no idea if this information is even true, and how much of an idiot would you feel like if it turns out this best friend was tricking you? Just do your homework before you place all the blame. So OP did update the post and says, I'll answer some questions I remember being asked, and in bold will be the actual update. So after posting that originally, I honestly went with the first few responses and decided to just confront her. A lot of people were asking me how I know it isn't the best friend, or to make sure it isn't her first, which is understandable. But I know this woman, and she's happily married and a mother of 4. I've known her forever, so I had no reason to believe she'd lie, or to believe she'd be doing the catfishing. And also she told me that my girlfriend told her about it, to get the secret out to someone she could trust. But that she felt I deserved the truth, and my girlfriend wasn't even totally honest with her either. I was also asked multiple times about the 2 women my girlfriend used to catfish me with, and why I talked to them for so long. I'm a social worker, and she kinda used it against me and pretended to be women that were in need of help or were in abusive relationships. And I work with this on the daily, so it's no surprise to me to have them contact me, as I'm very public and open with my job. Never once was I inappropriate with these women. In fact, I actively talked about my girlfriend very positively, especially if they're going towards trying to flirt with me or be inappropriate towards me. So, for the update, I confronted my girl, and she broke down immediately. Not admitting anything at first, but just crying without saying anything. She then told me to please not be angry, but that 2 years ago she met a guy at work. They immediately fell in love, and she knew she wanted to be with him. She said they slept together and spent time together while I was away, or while I was working. She decided to catfish me to get me to cheat on her, so she wouldn't be seen as a cheater who left her boyfriend for no real reason. She told me she didn't think it'd take long, and I'd fall for something, and I never did. She admitted it wasn't even just those 2 women, and she even tried to get a new man to help out to somehow make me unfaithful. Her best friend told her that I got an engagement ring and was planning to propose, which apparently freaked my girl out because she absolutely didn't want to marry me and then be stuck. So I'm 99% sure she told her friend about the catfishing, hoping she'd come back to me with the newfound news and I would end it. If that's the case, she got her wish. She's in the process of moving out her things, and although I'm staying calm, I'm extremely hurt by her actions and hurt that she betrayed me. So for now, I'll stay single and focus on my work, and in the future I have an amazing girl to give this engagement ring to. And until then, I'll be healing, I guess. I want to thank everyone who responded and offered advice, and also apologize for taking so long and not answering questions. My job is very demanding, and I didn't expect much advice anyway. Lonnie Lee says to OP, that is about the weirdest thing I've heard. Your girlfriend's avoidant tricks trying to get you to cheat, but good luck on your life free of her. One piece of advice, sell the ring. Don't give any future fiancé a ring you bought for a cheater. OP says, thanks. I'll definitely take that advice and do that. Rainbow Sprinkle says, she was cheating on you for half your relationship, and in all that time couldn't find a way to break it off with you, other than to fuck with you. Words can't express how abhorrent she is. Congratulations on moving into a much better phase of your life. Aki says more bizarre is that the other guy stayed with her for 2 years, waiting for the OP to break up with his girlfriend so they could be together. What the fuck? Arab says, if the guy is sleazy enough to cheat and help frame OP as a cheater, he is probably the type of dude to enjoy the last 2 years as less of a relationship and more of a friends with benefits. He can talk to her and fuck her when he wants, but it's hard for her to actively have a relationship with him while hiding it. I bet he breaks up with her in the next 6 months. Whenever I come out of stories like this, I'm always like, and I know it's not the point, but I'm always like, who the hell has got time for this nonsense in their life? 2 years trying to get someone to cheat so you can break up with them because she was cheating in the first place. Just fucking break it off. Admit that you massively messed up so you can both just move on from it. But 2 years of it, the mental juggling for that 2 years, it hurts my head thinking about it. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's have another story. Now, quick warning before we do get into our next story. If you're eating or anything like that, or just don't like the talk, it involves talk of diarrhea, you might want to skip this one. It'll be the last story of the video as well, just so you know. Totally up to you. Proceed at your own will. You have been warned. Now, our next story comes from user WLDMSTA, and it says, boyfriend 22 male of 3 months humiliated me, 20 female, and says I overreacted by breaking up with him. Now, he wants to get back together. Hey guys, I've been dating this guy since the middle of October. Things were going well between us. I thought, lol. We both love the gym and being outdoors, and are in the same major in school. Had natural chemistry, good sex life, etc. Obviously, it was a young relationship, but I was genuinely happy and started to think a little more long term, like what we would do once he graduates and gets a job, etc. But recently, my feelings for him took a complete 180, and I ended up breaking up. The incident happened about a week before Christmas. We spent a whole day together watching a movie, checking out Christmas events at the mall, then having dinner at a nice restaurant. This was going to be our Christmas, since we would both be spending actual Christmas with our families. The day itself was great. After dinner, we went back to his apartment because we both wanted to get laid. We were cuddling on the couch when my stomach started hurting so much that I ended up sprinting to the bathroom because, yeah, it was that kind of stomach ache. We'd only been dating for a few months, and I wasn't comfortable enough to let him hear me having diarrhea. But he lives in a studio apartment, so I started panicking and started blasting music on my phone. I thought that would drown out the noises, but yeah, the diarrhea was worse than I thought. At one point, I hear him start laughing uncontrollably, and that makes me super fucking embarrassed. After I cleaned myself up and came out, I expected an apology, or at least to ask me if I'm okay, but instead he says, "Wow, I've never heard a girl shit like that," and proceeds to start laughing like an idiot again. I told him I was embarrassed and to stop, and his response was, "But does it smell though?" And then for the next 5 minutes, I had to literally fight him not to go into the bathroom. Needless to say, I was pretty pissed, and I would have gone home at that point, but it was supposed to be our Christmas, so whatever. I suggested we open our presents, mainly so I could forget about what an arse he had been. After we opened our presents and relaxed a little, he started kissing me and feeling me up, but I wasn't in the mood after how he acted, so I told him I was tired and didn't feel well. Then he said, "Oh yeah, probably not a good idea," and made a huge farting noise with his mouth. At that point, I just got up and left. While I was waiting outside for my Uber, he brought me a present and apologized to me and stayed with me until the ride came. So that placated me for the time being. We didn't see each other for around 1 week, so his childish outbursts before Christmas were kind of in the back of my mind. And I was just looking forward to New Year's, when he invited me to spend time with he and his friends. Don't do it, boyfriend. Don't do it. We were going to meet at the rooftop bar on New Year's Eve, and since I hadn't met most of the people there yet, I was eager to make a good impression. Obviously, you can tell where this is going. Yep. Long story short, boyfriend told everyone there, a total of 15 of his friends, about how I'd been shitting my ass off and how it was hilarious how I was even trying to play music, but that it didn't matter because there was a fucking shitstorm. He didn't even finish the story before I walked the fuck away from him and his friends. He caught me at the elevator and asked me what I was doing, and I told him leaving. He told me I took myself too seriously and to just come back, nobody cares. And I told him that we were finished. He was confused. I made it clear. He got pissed off, told me, see what happens if you embarrass me in front of my friends. But I couldn't care less and ignored him. That actually pissed me off even more. 1, because it was a threat, and 2, because it was obviously okay for him to embarrass me in front of them. Why couldn't I return the favor? I felt so embarrassed to even know that he heard me pooping at all, and I felt so disrespected and humiliated that he chose to not only ridicule me for it, but to use the situation in order to be funny in front of his friends who were meeting me for the first time. He knew I didn't like him making fun of me when it was just us alone. Why would it then be okay to tell a group of 15 of his friends who I would conceivably have been trying to build relationships with? From the day after New Year's until now, he's been blowing up my phone and Facebook Messenger, apologizing, begging me to come back, saying that it was just a joke. He didn't know I would take it so seriously, that I'm overreacting and being too sensitive, and that I'm throwing away the relationship over a joke. He even sent flowers to my parents' house instead of my apartment for whatever reason, I don't know. Literally, there were no red flags in our relationship until that happened. But I feel like his immature, jackass side would have come out eventually. And that's just not something I want to deal with. There's nothing except some disposable toothbrushes and some makeup remover at his place. Nothing I care about getting back. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I made the right choice, and other times I feel like maybe he's right. I should give him another chance. Am I being overly sensitive and overreacting by breaking up with him? Does he deserve a second chance, or is he as big of an arsehole as I thought on New Year's? Now, initially on the whole, loud noise farts or whatever, I'm a child, and I find that kind of stuff funny. But the lack of empathy at all when you were showing your discomfort, your embarrassment, etc., is another level. I'd certainly be saying, oh, don't worry about it, kind of thing. It's a normal bodily function. No stress here. Don't worry about it. Are you okay? Can I do anything? But this is going to be grim. So, just shut it off right now if you don't want to hear something grim, because I've had a case of the 2 bob bits or the shits that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I went to Egypt, was having a great time in the pool all day. It was absolutely scorching hot all day, having a couple of beers, having a great time. But that evening, holy moly, I don't know if I drank the water or something. I was sat on that toilet and I've never experienced anything like it. I think I nearly turned inside out. And it just came within a couple of hours. It was just, wow. Yeah, that's my little story there. I'm sorry, but I had to share that one. And I know I've just shared that to thousands of people, but if I was with a partner, and was going to meet a group of friends for the first time ever, and they immediately come out with this, try and take the piss out of me or whatever, I wouldn't be happy about it either. Especially when you've already shown your discomfort with this. You already said how it embarrasses you, how it makes you feel. Surely you want your partner to feel safe, to feel loved, to not be embarrassed, to feel comfortable, especially with a group of new friends, and help them get involved. And I felt his threat to you, see what happens if you embarrass me in front of my friends, it almost felt a little sinister. That might be an exaggeration, but if someone says that sort of shit, I'd be side-eyeing that person. But the top commenter on this one says, and quotes about him telling everyone, and says, first, I thought you were overreacting. My boyfriend has said some very similar things and teased me when I was on the toilet / farted next to him or whatever. Nevertheless, he always stopped when I told him that it's not funny, and he never made a story out of it to tell in front of a large group of people. I mean, seriously. And quotes OP saying, am I being overly sensitive and overreacting by breaking up with him? Does he deserve a second chance? Commenter says, nah, you didn't. I mean, look at your boyfriend's behavior now. He still tells you that you're overreacting. He doesn't really see it as an easy and doesn't know why he fucked up. OP says, thank you for your response. That's what I was looking for him to just stop once I told him I was embarrassed and it wasn't funny. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.